Hey guys, welcome back to Toni Told Me with me, Toni Tone, the cozy corner where I give you the real talk and the real tea. I hope you've all had an amazing week so far. If you're new here, welcome. My podcast is all about giving you the big sister advice. I'm here to listen. I'm here to solve your dilemmas. Make sure you subscribe and do follow us on all socials at Toni Told Me Pod. Today, we are tapping into the male perspective. Have you ever wondered why men act the way they act and why they do the things they do? Well, I have my first guest to answer some of your questions. My fiancé, Taiwo, is here. We're gonna pick his brain a little. Taiwo, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's weird calling you Taiwo because I don't call you Taiwo. I call you Babe. Babe, welcome.
Thank you for having me on the show. I'm honored to be the first guest on this amazing show, and I hope I'm able to share my perspective, on what some men think.
You're being very formal right now, babe.
I'm free. I'm being myself.
Okay.
Loosen up. Okay,
babe, what have you been up to? I usually give some insight into what I've been up to, but because you're my first guest, I want to know, what have you been up to?
Well, outside of work, I work in biotech, and for the most part, I'm mostly working. And when I'm not doing that, I'm making content or working on CGI, graphics, all that kind of stuff. And when I'm not doing that, I'm always trying to prepare for the wedding coming up this year. So
how is wedding prep going? I want to ask you how it's going because I know how it's going.
Okay, so I am just glad that you are someone that is a planner too.
Okay.
Notice I said two. So you're not the only one that plans, but the wedding planning has been going great. You know how people always say that it's very stressful, but it's not been the case for us.
I bet it hasn't been very stressful for you.
No. Hear me out. I know you seem like you've been doing everything by yourself, but I've been helping out.
No, you have. You have.
Financially. But I'm just saying
is that your role? Yeah, you just pay for stuff.
No. I've I have put in like 20% off the ideas, but
and I've done the other 80. Yeah?
What matters is what matters is me and you being there. Everything else is a plus.
Okay, I'll give you that. That's true. That's true. It's nice to have you in London. Yeah. I love it when you're in London. I feel like to be fair, it's like 60-40. 60% I go to Texas and then 40%.
Yeah, because of the work.
Yeah, you come here. Yeah. But I like it when you're here because it's like I get to show you, all the places I hang out. Pardon?
It's a joy.
It's a joy.
Every time.
But you still wouldn't move here? You hate the weather?
Give me like 10 more trips, then I'll
tell you
if I'm gonna do that. I'm not too sure yet.
So obviously you're here, and also we have producer Anisha here in the studio as always to give us some.
I'm always here, guys.
I love that. You're always
I'm just in the shadows.
You're helpful though, helpful shadow.
Yeah.
One day we need to do an episode where you're like in front of the camera so people can put a face to a name.
Tony, I don't know about that.
Okay.
You got this.
Think about it. But yeah, we've got some dilemmas later. I'm excited. Aimed at you, babe, because you're the special guest, obviously. I'm just going to give my 2 cents. But anyway, let's get into it. Usually this segment, as you know, is called Tea Time with Toni. But because Taiwo is here this week, I feel like we should rename it to Tea Time with Taiwo. So this is your segment, babe. We've got so many dilemmas. I asked people for questions for you, and I was inundated. Okay. I've got questions that I want to ask you that were sent through just generally, but we also got some dilemmas and it was tough to narrow them down. But yeah, I hope you're ready. I hope you've got your thinking cap on.
I'll do my best.
Producer Anisha, you've got the dilemmas for us. Well, I say for us, but really for Taiwo.
I've got the dilemmas for Taiwo. So Taiwo, buckle up.
Okay.
Ooh. So, hi Taiwo, my boyfriend is great in every area. His mother doesn't want to meet me or interact with me. He doesn't talk to his family about me because of that. He's Nigerian and I'm not. He chose me, but there's a rift between him and his family. Also, I don't want him to hate me in the future for coming between him and his mum. I don't want to be the reason his relationship isn't the same with his parents. Ooh.
Okay.
The shock.
That one's for you. I'll let you handle this as the Nigerian man in the room.
Well, I'll give my perspective based on what I would do if I was in the same boat. It sounds like she's fighting two battles. I'll explain this. So first of all, she's trying to, be part of his family. But at the same time, there is another argument. There's another discussion that needs to be held between her and the guy, because the guy doesn't seem to, have her back when it comes to trying to talk about her to his family. So he's not doing anything on that end. There is no initiative on his end. And the question is, how long is she going to keep being on the sideline, waiting for him to, show the initiative and wait for the guy to say that, hey, mommy, daddy, this is someone I'm actually very interested in. Is she going to keep waiting forever for that or not? Now, what would I would expect her to do is actually have that conversation with him. And if he's not willing to see any value or reason in anything she's saying based on those conversations, then it's tough, because you need to be able to have those discussions. And if your partner, your so-called partner, isn't fighting battles for both of you, then how does that relay into the marriage going forward if he can't even do that for you before you guys are even married?
Well, I think she did say though that there's he chose her and it's caused a rift. So I feel like he's probably taken one step, but she doesn't want to be the is that right, Anisha? So he chose her.
He has chosen her, and that's what's caused a rift between him and the family.
But she doesn't want to be the reason there is a rift. So how does she get about that bit? Because I feel like he's taken the initiative and he picked her.
Okay.
But she doesn't want to be the reason he's not close to his parents anymore.
I mean, that's if he still if she still feels that way, then the question is like, how is that so? Like, what exactly has she heard discussion between him and his parents? Okay. Like, is he actually has he done anything to let her know that primarily it's going to be us, because we're going to have to build our family, to not make her feel like, okay, I kind of did this and now I feel bad because he's not able to be as close to his family. But the reality is, at the end of the day, everyone is going to still make their own family. And if you are that person that is going to say that, oh no, that he still needs to amend that and put his wife at the side, that his mother has her own husband.
Yeah, facts.
He has to build his family at some point in life.
Wait, question.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. If your mum never liked me, I mean, thankfully she does. Love that for me. But if your mum never liked me, what would you have done?
I don't know why you are discussing scenarios that never happened. Yeah, you thank God that they never happened.
I'm just wondering, but hypothetically.
Listen, all I'll say is that I have to go spiritual here. The grace of God doesn't know tribe, race, or anything. So there are sometimes people who pick certain people, and then, people in the flesh might not like who they are. But then if God said that's the will for you, what if your parents are saying this and that? If they're not bad people, they have the values they're looking for and all that. Everything else seems like a distraction.
Okay.
So all you can do is, if you're a spiritual person, pray about it and see what God tells you. And if they tell you that that's the person for you, then everything else is secondary. That's the way I see it. So I thank God that we didn't get to be in that situation.
Yeah.
But that would have been my approach.
Okay.
She needs to have that discussion with him, and he needs to, constantly reassure her that, listen, I made this decision for us, that I don't need you to be feeling bad about something that, I don't need you to feel bad about a decision that I would hope that, God willing, our future children would make if they had the chance of, picking someone in their own family. So, yeah, that would be the way I see it, because, at the end of the day, everyone is still going to have to build their own family. And if you're not making those conscious decisions to not just pick like he already did, but to support that decision and make her feel assured that, listen, don't feel bad about this. We made a decision based on, what we are trying to do long term, and it's not harmful. There are no red flags in this whole situation. Then, I don't think she should feel bad about that. That's just the way I see it.
Okay, fair. Oh, that was a nice, thorough answer.
I'm just, maybe I'm projecting. But I'm just glad we didn't get to that point,
At this rate, people are going to be asking to get rid of tea time with Toni and just have tea time with Taiwo. But
that's just.
Producer Anisha, you have another dilemma for us.
I do. So this one you said came up quite a lot.
Oh yes, I know which
Is this
one
the
you're
one you
gonna
didn't
ask.
tell me about?
No, this isn't the one. This is the one.
And me reading this, oof. Okay, so my boyfriend has a lot of female friends, and it honestly makes me uncomfortable. Is it normal to have lots of female friends? How can I tell him I don't like it? Yeah, me and the girls were speaking about this. It's a very well spoken about subject.
Really? When were you speaking about it?
Literally the other night. So I need to hear a male perspective. I'm sat. I am sat.
I know why you laughing. I know why
She
you
set
laughing.
me up.
I did not. First of all, I did not set you up. This is not my question. Secondly, this is someone else's question. Secondly,
Okay.
people want to know from a male perspective, but I know why you're laughing. Let me give context. First.
Give
Go
us
ahead,
context.
Ty was laughing because when I met him, he had quite a few female friends.
Yeah.
I am not someone who feels like men and women can't be friends, right? However, I feel like when either party is in a relationship, there should be certain boundaries in place. Mm-hmm. And certain things should be respected.
Can give my answer.
So, okay, before I
Yeah,
continue,
I'm
you
just-
know, give your answer
Yeah.
and then I'll jump back here because I feel like I'm going to...
Sorry,
Okay.
could you repeat part of the question again? I just want to make sure I'm answering it.
So, my boyfriend has a lot of female friends,
Okay.
and it honestly makes me uncomfortable. Is it normal to have lots of female friends? How can I tell him I don't like it?
Okay.
Is it normal to have... Did your daddy have lots of female friends? sorry.
So,
Continue.
I don't think the having female friends is the issue here. The question is that I always tell you that who is your father's female friend that isn't friends with your mom? Tell me one. Who is your father's female best friend that isn't friends with your mom? When you think about it that way, the question is you can have female friends, but they should have some form of acknowledgement of your partner too. Right. Secondly, those female friends, are they crossing certain boundaries? Why do you have a female friend that's constantly calling you every time around 10:30 p.m. almost every single day? What are you people talking about? Talk about God. What are you people talking about that you can't talk about with your partner that they have to call 10? This is to every guy listening. If you have a female friend that's constantly calling you at 10:30 every day, the day you don't pick up, trust me, they will find a solution to that problem they're always asking you about. If they're that person that's always calling for tech help, I promise you, after 2 or 3 times, they will Google it and they will find the answer. Because a lot of times, people in that situation think that if they don't answer, that friend will not survive. They can't do without. No, they will. Trust me. Trust me.
My thing is this.
They will.
Anisha, my thing is this, right? Producer Anisha.
So about the lady feeling some type of way. You know, it's one thing to have female friends. The other, it's another thing to be where it's like 97% they're just all female friends, and for the most part they are crossing certain boundaries that that one wouldn't normally do in a relationship, like constantly calling late at night, or constantly having him be their helper all the time for every single scenario. So those things could raise eyebrows, even if they claim that, they will never do anything.
My thing
That's
is
not
this,
true.
right? Why are you calling someone else's man for help when Google is there? Like literally,
There's ChatGPT is free.
Thank you. ChatGPT is free. Google is free. Yahoo, Bing, whatever you need to do. Like, why are you calling someone else's boyfriend? Why are you calling someone else's husband? Like, that's the thing with having friends of the opposite sex. Have your friends, right? But your friends should know what is appropriate and what is not appropriate, especially when you're like the person's in a relationship. And also, I just feel like your man or your woman, whoever you're in a relationship with, should check their friends to say, this ain't gonna fly. You can't be calling me at 12 midnight.
They need to be told
And
the
if they're
boundaries.
truly- Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they're truly a female friend of yours, they would respect the boundaries of your relationship.
That is
They
it.
would something to hit them and say, okay, I know I need Taiwo to help me with this, but I think it's kind of somehow that I'm calling him 3-4 times a week around 11 p.m. asking him for let's say help with this cloud project every single time.
Also,
I
Taiwo
think
is
that
not the
would-
only man in the world that knows how to
Exactly.
do these
There's-
things, by the way.
There's AI tools now. There's Google that can help them do it.
Facts. So question, how would she then tell her partner, like, So I completely agree. It's about feeling like when someone feels uncomfortable, it's about why. Why do they feel uncomfortable? Are certain boundaries being disrespected? How does she have that conversation with her partner? Like, what does she say?
Babe, tell me who are your father's female friends?
Okay,
that are friends
fair.
with
Yeah,
your mom?
yeah. That's true.
No, you can say it as a joke, but if that doesn't fly, the reason she feels uncomfortable is because I don't think it's just because he has female friends. It's what is the dynamic like with
That's
those
it.
female friends? Because sometimes it could also be, I don't know that specific lady that asked, but sometimes it could also be based on an attraction level too.
That is true.
If I hate to say it, but that's a real thing. Whether
Pause,
one
pause,
is-
pause, pause,
yes.
pause, 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 pause. Your female friends that shall remain unnamed, have any of them become your friend because they fancied you first?
I don't know.
No, I don't know.
I don't know. Why did my voice go out?
So, like, the female friends, whether you talk to them, I know you don't talk to some of them as frequently now or whatever, but have any of them become your friend because you were exploring being more than just friends and then you were like, actually, no?
I don't know, man.
Wait, what do you mean you don't? Why
Maybe
was it
I'm not
like
as
that?
aware. Maybe I just, you remember how I told you how I was always assuming everybody was just being friendly, being delusional.
Have any
back
of
then?
them moved to you? Okay,
Like
your
when-
UK slang, have they moved to you and been like, I like you, Taiwo? And have you been like, oh, I'm not really looking for something, and then kept them as a
I mean,
friend?
like when I was single and then...
Well, yeah, when you were single. What do you mean when I was when you were single? Like, what the hell would I be asking you that now?
Anyway.
Have any of them? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that has happened in the past, of course. That's happened in
okay.
the past, but,
Which ones? No, I'm joking.
it was... Never mind. So, that's happened in the past, and, what I realized was that even though we were very clear about what we were both looking for, and, they were able to say, okay, I respect that. And we're still friends. But one thing I realized was that once I entered a relationship, they respected that boundary going forward. So,
Good job, babe.
What
You're
do you mean
good at
good
these
job?
dilemmas. You're good at these dilemmas. Even when I try and catch you out. Anisha, does that answer your question, by the way?
Yeah.
What was your stance on it?
Do you know what? It's one of those ones where I have no problem with female friends, right? Like, absolutely fine. Let's keep them to a small number, though, not double digits, but like absolutely fine. But my thing is when the female friends don't respect the girlfriend and they
Yes.
don't care to acknowledge you, get to know you. It's like, if you know my boyfriend and you know he has a girlfriend, then you should make an effort with the girlfriend. Like, if we're stood somewhere talking and you've just said hi to my boyfriend and you're just talking to my boyfriend and I'm like the invisible person in the corner,
Wild.
yeah.
then there's a problem. Do you know what I mean? But apart from that, I mean, you're never really going to tell your partner who they can and can't be friends with, are you? Like,
Right.
unless it's something really
I have.
serious.
I know, I have. I have. But for
Have you?
that, but for that reason,
Oh,
I've been
okay.
like, she doesn't respect me. You need to cut her off.
Oh, yeah, fairs.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
also like to. I would also like to just add this. If your girlfriend or if your girlfriend or your boyfriend is telling you that this person of this gender is trying to hit on you and they're waiting their turn, believe them.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm
That's
so
Trust
glad
me
you
on
said
this.
that, babe.
Trust me on
Yes,
this.
because guys don't realize. I'm like, this is coming from a girl. I know how girls act. I know she's waiting for her turn. I know she's just waiting till
Every
I'm
time,
gone.
yeah.
See what I mean?
Every
I'm so
time
glad you
she's
said
told
that.
me that, I was like, nah, you just tripping. You exactly, you just tripping.
I peep
and then
it.
I'm like, oh,
I peep it
Literally,
way
I can
before it
smell
happens.
it.
I
I can smell it.
I say, this woman likes you. She wants you. This message is inappropriate. She's trying to
Yes.
move to you. They'd be like, oh no, she's just being friendly. She's just a nice person. Blah, blah. And then in comes the weird message where she's doing a bit too much. And he's like, oh, damn, block. Oh, you were right. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you see, I told you so.
it also works
And I
the
feel
other
like
way too. I told you that.
yeah, it can work the other way. But I feel like
Yes.
sometimes when you're in the position, you don't see the signs, you don't have that foresight, and you can be a bit
Yeah.
naive. And it takes someone else externally to be like, yo, FYI, this is what this person's trying to do. So
And ladies too, if a guy tells you that this guy is not just trying to be friendly, believe him, because a lot of guys have been in the friend zone too before, so they know
Yeah.
what it's like. Like some guys can stay in the friend zone for 9 years and
That's a
wait
long
their
time.
turn.
That was very specific, babe.
So I don't know. Wasn't me. Whoa.
very specific.
Wasn't me. But some guys could stay in the friend zone for a long time. So believe guys too when they tell you that
That's
certain
true.
guys are moving that way.
Oh, that was an awesome dilemma segment. I love tea time with Taiwo. I need to bring you on more often. Guys, if you've got a dilemma, please feel free to email it to us, tony@tonytoldme.com, or you can send the dilemma via DM on Instagram, which is @tonytoldmepod. We are going to take a very quick break here, but stay tuned because next we have Sisterhood Spotlight and we'll be digging slightly deeper into Taiwo's brain. Okay, so it's time for Sisterhood Spotlight. Although I feel like because you're here, we should probably rename it Brotherhood Spotlight. It's not giving sisterhood. What is that song that's trending on TikTok right now? I always wanted a brother.
Oh my god, yeah! From what's that film?
Mufasa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't lie. I watched the film and that was the highlight for me. That track, that little kid who sang that song, he deserves all the royalties. He deserves all the coins. I always wanted a brother. There was one particular question actually that came up so many times.
Oh, boy.
I must have received this question about 50, 60 times from different people in different formats. So I'm just
they
going to get
ask you?
right into it because I don't want to waste any time.
Okay.
The number one question that I got endlessly, reworded in different ways.
The pressure is getting us.
Is it high pressure? Well, that was the question.
No,
I feel
no,
like
no.
the ladies want to know, like, when does it click for a man that that's the woman he wants to be with, he wants to marry? So, question for you.
Okay.
When did it click and why did it click and how did it click?
Okay, so for me or in general, because I have answers for both.
Oh, let's hear both. When did it click for you? When did you know, baby, that I was the one?
Okay. So in general, I've always preferred to just be by myself and just work on tech stuff. I'm a proud nerd and I own it proudly.
You are a nerd. I love it.
I would spend 3 months working on patents for battery patents that I was doing that during the pandemic. I would, learn tools that I wouldn't even use and see how I can actually make something out of them. That's just how I've always been. She knows, like, the time she came to surprise me in Houston, I was
That was so easy, by
Yeah.
the way. I knew exactly where you'd be.
Yeah,
I flew from the UK to
Right.
surprise him in Texas, and people were like, "Tony, isn't it risky? What if he's out?" I'm like, "I know my man.
Yeah.
He's gonna be in front of the computer, and if he's not in his house, he's gonna be at the gym."
I was
And he was
working
in
on
front of his computer.
a CGI film that I was creating on Unreal Engine. That's stuff that I do. I was always just trying to work on, myself and see how I can improve in every single area, mostly in tech. There was one of my mutuals. Just a little best-selling author here and there. She very attractive. Very attractive mindset too. So I messaged her, and she gave me a number and all that, and we had that first conversation, and that first conversation, it wasn't forced. It wasn't forced at all. It was very natural. The second one, everybody knows, it was 7 hours.
Yeah. If you don't know, now you know.
It was 7 hours.
Yeah, it was a long conversation.
And by that second one, it felt like we had talked about everything. The feeling of realizing that you already knew how to create your happiness by yourself, but you can see that it could even be better with this person in your life.
Wait, so you knew I was the one after that second call?
By the first I did, but the second one was too obvious.
Okay.
Yeah, I told my brother first call that I said, "This is my wife." But the second
I
call,
remember that.
like when you have a bunch of discussions and you align on values, you guys know how to have a long conversation together. You both have a sense of humor. You both attracted to each other. You have family values, and then despite all that, if the thought of you being with this person forever doesn't scare you or make you worried, like that's one symptom of knowing that, okay, that's them.
Okay.
Secondly, for me,
Good point.
it was because it was so easy for me to start taking initiative to plan stuff for us after that second phone call. Remember we checked recently. I bought my flight
2 weeks after you
2
spoke
weeks.
to me for the
I
first
bought my
time.
flight to London 2 weeks after I talked to her.
Wow.
Like everything seems so like joyful to do. Like I've never been in a place where I was so happy to plan and take action towards coming to meet you, because I knew that if I was stuck with this person for the rest of my life, it was such an easy choice.
That's so beautiful.
It's a no-brainer.
It leads me on to another question. So wait, to summarize, so you're basically saying you knew I was the one because we aligned on basically almost everything, and you also felt like the thought of forever with me made you happy and excited.
Yes, happier. For somebody who has always created their own happiness by
That's
themselves.
lovely.
That I was one, I might as well tell you, I was one of those people that genuinely thought that if I was to end up being alone for the rest of my life, I'll still be happy. That's just how
Same.
I've always been.
Yeah, same.
So for me to find somebody that can change that, that's more than I ever expected. And when you find that, so if you're looking for my answer in one statement is, if you're somebody that has created their own happiness, if you find somebody that wants you to, if that makes you want more than that, that makes you feel like you could even be happier than you already are, you are able to be with this person, and the thoughts of being with them forever doesn't scare you, that's the sign. That's how you know they're the one, in my opinion.
That's a good answer.
On top of aligning on values and character, you don't necessarily have to align on all the small things, but on the key elements, yeah. If people are not really still sure, I can actually give you questions that you need to ask yourself in your head.
So I have another question for you, babe. Another thing women ask, and I think this was such a brilliant question, based on what you've said, it triggered something.
Uh-oh.
Do men date for potential? Because a lot of women consider potential when they're dating. Like, I always say, like, screw potential, forget potential, because
Yeah.
what if the person doesn't change, right? But a lot of women date for potential. They see the good in guys. He could be this, he could be that. I see the inside, that bad boy exterior is this loving, sweet, caring guy. Underneath that nonchalant, scaly, hard, rough, whatever.
Scaly? Is he a
No, I was just-
reptile?
I was just trying to think of something tough and hard, right? But do men do that? Like, do men date? Have you ever considered dating someone or dated someone for their potential and not who they are? Because I'm under the impression that if you haven't got what a man is looking for, he'll say, skirt, skirt, and he'll find someone who has it. But maybe I'm wrong. Do men date for potential?
Ooh.
Why are you uncomfortable by that?
The boys are not gonna like this, but yes.
Do they?
Yes. I'm not even gonna hide this one. Some do. Some
Okay.
some do, but the sad part is that instead of them to be honest with themselves and realize that, okay, I know that this is not gonna work long term. I know that she's great in maybe in some of these areas, but let's say she has a temper that she doesn't ever want to, work on, or maybe she doesn't really believe in monogamy. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. People think that's a real thing.
Okay, fair.
And they're like,
It's always
"You know
interesting
what?
hearing a
I can
guy say
figure it
that."
out. I can figure. They're the ones that, let me tell you, they mask it and say and call it as we're just figuring it out.
Okay, but
they will not call it the same way women do. No, they will
so
not
when
say
a
that.
guy is dating for potential, when he says to
won't-
his boys,
they won't
"Oh,
say
just
that.
figuring it out," that means he's not 100% sure on her, but he's
They don't-
giving it a go.
To any man that would disagree with what I said, answer me this question. You mean you find someone that is everything they're looking for in every single shape or form? Would you be saying I'm figuring it out with that person?
Okay, that's
Be
fair.
honest with yourself. You really think that you meet someone that's every single thing, checked every single box, and you said, okay, there is no reason to not be with this person. You think you'll be going around telling your boys that, man, we're trying to figure this out.
So men do
That
date for
that is
potential
that is
then.
a lie from the gates of hell that people tell themselves. Now there are people that, oh God, screw it, I'll say it. There are some people that date people for potential based on the fact that they are everything they want physically. They are attracted to them, but they don't have the character they're looking for.
So she looks like a
So-
baddie, but her personality is whack.
Yes.
So you still date her for her potential.
instead of them to just leave, they'll say, you know what, might as well just stay there, because she got the looks and all. So
Damn.
now, unfortunately, they'll make the mistake of saying that, you know what, I'll just stay for the looks and, make sure that, if as long as that's what we're looking for, hoping that maybe she would change.
Have you ever dated someone just for their looks?
What?
Huh? What? Have you ever dated someone
This
just...
mic working? What?
Have you ever dated someone who you knew didn't have the personality you want, but based on their looks, you entertained it? Have you ever?
Oh, based off looks, no. No.
Really?
Based off looks, no.
Oh, okay, cool.
Based off looks, no. But I did date someone in the past who had based off potential. And the reality was that back then, I just thought that, oh, you know what, maybe they would change after a while because they would show, a symptom here and there of them having potential to change. But I realized that how long are you going to be patient for them? How long are you going to wait for them to change?
Fair point.
Who's willing to wait, 6, 7, 8 years? And the thing that changed it for me was one day I asked myself that if I met somebody that was equally as attractive as that person that was dating for potential, and they had that character that I was hoping that they would change into, would I keep waiting for them to change?
No, yeah, you just go for the person.
This is why it's important to, date people that are aligned on everything you're looking for instead of potential.
I have another question for you. This one is a juicy one. As a man, do you think men should be given a second chance after cheating?
Short answer, no. But
okay, good.
I only laughed because
Good answer.
I only laughed because ask the men, are they willing to give their own girl a second chance to cheat?
The double standard.
The double
crazy
standards
question.
are real.
Like you find that, Anisha, like men
Real.
a lot of men,
That
not
is
all men,
hilarious.
I will say that not all men, but a lot of men had this expectation that, oh, you know what, it's in our nature to not be monogamous. If we cheat, you should be ride or die. But then they wouldn't forgive their partner if their partner cheated. It's wild.
It's a cope where when people say that it's in their nature just because they don't want to change bad behavior. They will say
wait,
that,
can you please reel it?
Can we hear it louder for the people
Can
in
you
the
please
back?
repeat that? What you just said? You said it's a cope. Why is it a cope? Say it again.
It's a cope because they don't want to change bad behavior. It is easier to say that it is natural, that way you don't have to make the effort to actually change your bad behavior. It's funny because they would love to say that, but if they had
This is why I'm wearing the ring.
because if they had a sister, they wouldn't want anyone to treat their sister like that. But
The irony.
But the crazy part is that you don't have to wait till you don't have to have a sister to understand that. The concept of doing unto others as you like them to do unto you should be common sense to people. You wouldn't want to get cheated on. So why cheat on people? It's that simple.
Facts. Is it true that men marry whoever was there when they're ready to marry rather than the person they loved the most?
Ooh.
I gotta speak for all men.
Okay. I know what you. Okay. I would say, what did you do? But obviously, I know you married the woman you loved the most.
Right.
So I'm not going to ask you. But
Once again, I can give mine, and then I can also give you what I think about most men.
Okay. Give me yours. I already know yours. Not to toot my own horn, but give me yours.
I think they marry the woman of their life because if you're going to marry someone that's was just around, then what happened to divine timing? What happened to you know how you've met certain people that say that that they met someone, but then it wasn't the right time.
Oh yeah, right person, wrong time.
I don't believe that. Sorry, I don't believe that. I believe that wrong timing is wrong person, which is why I don't believe the whole concept of that if the man met the woman at that point in time, that was the person that he wanted to marry. No, I'm not a fan of that.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of that. Now, if people claim that they do that,
Yeah, some people.
I'm very concerned because that means that what if you run into, for lack of better words, version 2.0 of that person?
Oh, they'll cheat. One guy messaged me saying, I married my wife because she was obedient.
Like a pet.
Producer Nisha, like a pet. Thank you, babe. He said he married his wife because she was obedient.
No.
Not that she was the woman he loved the most. And I said, that
No.
is wild. So I think it's a mix. There are men like you who just think
Yeah, I
like,
don't
what is
think
the
it's-
point
yeah,
of
I
getting
think it's,
married if
you know-
if it's not the love of your life? And there are other men who are like, I need someone to wash my drawers, to cook my meals.
No.
And I'm just gonna get married as a tick box exercise, right? So it's scary out there. The last one I'm gonna ask is, how long should the talking stage last? Because a lot of women hit me up saying, I've been talking to this guy for 3 months. I've been talking to this.
That question.
I have my opinion about what a talking stage is and how long
Yeah.
it should last. But I want to know what you think. Like,
No,
how
tell
would
us,
you?
what's your opinion?
What's my opinion? Okay. Firstly, right, when people say talking stage, I think sometimes they can conflate talking stage with dating. As in, they think dating someone is the talking stage. No, in my opinion, the talking stage is the talking you do before date one commences. So, as an example, say you meet a guy on a night out or whatever, you swap numbers, you're texting him, you're talking. At some point, he should ask you to go on a physical date. That date, in my opinion, shouldn't be taking months. It could take a week, 2 weeks, at max 3 weeks, right? Especially if he's in the same city. If he's abroad, that's a little stickier. But within a few weeks, you should have gone on a physical date. The second you go on said date, you're not talking anymore. You're dating, you're courting, you're dating each other. The talking is the chit chat you do prior to initiating a date. The second you go on a date, you're dating. You're not talking. So when people are like, I've been talking for 6 months, you have been talking to who? About what? What have you been talking to? What have you been talking about? Like, I just don't get it. Like, have you gone out with this person like physically? If you have, you're not talking to him, you're dating him. And if you haven't physically gone out with this person, why are you doing 6-month pen pal? Unless he lives in bloody Australia, I just don't get why you'd be a 6-month pen pal. So in my opinion, the talking stage shouldn't be more than max 1 month. Maximum, right? But what do you think?
2 hours. No, no, no.
Sorry, God damn, you don't waste no time.
Not 2 hours. No. I told a friend of mine recently that it should be. It's subjective. It depends on the dynamic between both of them. Look at me and you. 2 calls and we already knew what it was.
Yeah, that's true.
And this
Sometimes
which is
it
why
does
I'm
take
like,
days. Talking stage
if
is
you
days.
are talking to them, I'm assuming you're talking about your interests,
Yep.
backgrounds, what you have in common, non-negotiables. Why does that take 8 months, 9 months to find out about, your background, what you like?
Facts.
Are you religious? Do you?
Wait,
Why does
pause.
that take? What?
Wait.
What?
How long before someone makes you their girlfriend or you become someone's boyfriend or vice versa?
That's the big question.
Yeah, I feel like that's the juicy one, right?
Yeah, that's the juicy one.
I don't like to put a time on it because it varies, but here's what I can say for sure. If you are going to make someone your boyfriend or girlfriend, it should be the day you realize that, okay, we have covered all the key things that will matter for us long term, our non-negotiables, our values. I enjoy talking to this person, they enjoy talking to me too. We can spend hours talking to each other, we can hang out together. If you've checked all that, every other minute is wasting time. That's how I see it.
Unfortunately, it's that time already where I say goodbye for the week. But before I leave, of course, I have to give you my positive words for the week. But I'm going to hand the floor over to Taiwo. I'll let him start. Babe, can you please share some positive words for our listeners?
If you're single, create your own happiness before you meet someone. As much as the world is full of, bad stuff, there's also a lot of good stuff in the world. Try to look at it from a glass half full perspective. If you're in a relationship, I always think it's best to always, trust people until they give you a reason not to, not the other way around. That's not a way to live. You just go around, making people feel like, they are not worthy to be in your presence when you're constantly mistrusting them. Be optimistic in everything you do. Pray, love out loud, don't hold back. If you find someone that meets everything you're looking for, Just, in this one life you have, you don't get a chance to be as expressive. If you're a guy, you get to be a son, a brother, and all that. You don't get to be a lover to that one person that you meet. And if you do, please don't hold back. Create an environment for people to feel loved and cared for. And I'm not even just talking relationships in general. That makes you a great person. And if you're always doing that, it allows you to show grace.
That's
and
wonderful.
if you show grace, it puts you in a place where you're always showing kindness, which is a very attractive quality in life. This is not even relationship wise. This is just in general on being a great person.
My positive words in keeping with the theme and your wonderful advice, and also who you are as a person. You are an amazing man. I tell you that all the time. I've told other people that. I sing your praises all the time. It's weird because I never imagined being in a position in my life where I would have such wonderful things to say about a man. I'm not going to lie to you. In a dating context anyway. Don't get me wrong. I've had lovely relationships in the past, but I think a lot of women are very hesitant about being loud and proud about their partner or sharing their love out loud, because it's what if the person embarrasses me? What if the person embarrasses me? What if they do this? Men always F up. What if? It's always a possibility that people disappoint you. It's always a possibility. But the kind of person you are fills me with so much comfort and certainty that I feel comfortable sharing my love out loud in a way that I don't hesitate. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So I want to give you your flowers and say thank you for that. I love you too, babe. My words of wisdom, relate to you in the sense that, ladies, if you're listening to this pod and you're questioning whether a guy cares about you, you kind of already have your answer. I think when a guy truly loves you, when a guy truly cares for you, when he truly respects you, you're not spending your hours and your days second guessing. You don't have to second guess, because it's in his actions, it's in his communication, it's in everything. In everything he does, you feel loved, you feel seen. If you're querying it all the time, you have your answer.
Yeah.
You already know.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He doesn't respect you in the way that he should. So go with your gut, listen to your instinct, and understand it. If someone truly cares, if they truly value you, you're not questioning your worth. Those are my positive words for this pod. But thank you. You've been an amazing guest.
Yeah, you've been an amazing host.
I'm bringing you back all the time, babe. So buckle up. We're just getting started.